going on? So this right here was my tape back in the day, 30 years ago. Where do I start about Babyface's Tender Love album? The title track was cool, but the leadoff cut was the funky It's No Crime. At the time, L.A. Reid and Babyface were establishing themselves as the other coast rival of Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis along with Teddy Riley, and they were leading the charge. But Kenneth Babyface Edmonds was working on an incredible solo career, which, if you think about it, he had a run from 1987 to 1995 where he was either producer, songwriter, artist. Just he had a concept, and it was truly something. But this album right here was the one. The first side back in the day. Let me tell you about the cassette thing. So let's get real. Back in the day, the first side was the fast side. The second side was the slow side. And It's No Crime was the cut. That was a bumper. Tender Love was cool. I think I like the remix with Bobby Brown. That was tight. And My Kind of Girl was tight. But when we get to the second side, that was the money side. Where do I start? And anybody who knew me back in the day, it was about that whip appeal. Woo! Because that was the cut. I mean, I listened to that song like every day. I thought Face had the record. Depending on where you live, back in my old neighborhood, I lived in Hampton, Virginia at the time, back around the way, whatever was popping on R&B as far as like an album or something, bet your bottom dollar somebody had it in their whip or they was blasting out their crib, because it was always like that was the one. And Face, he had the record at the time. He had the cuts. And this one, he could do no wrong. Whip Appeal was so catchy, and it was just smooth. The video was smooth. It was a cool song. The harmony, everything. He came into his own as an artist. Word on the street was that Whip Appeal was offered by Babyface to Prince, which would have been an interesting take in hindsight. So they were mutual respect, mutual artistry there, no doubt. The main other cut on there, As Soon As I Get Home, that was the ladies' anthem there, because that song, he basically pay your rent, do everything. And that was a song that got much play, as did Sunshine. I mean, he had a great balance of up-tempo and smooth cuts. That was a standard back then. If you wanted to be respected as an R&B artist and have balance and everything, you had to have the funky side and you had to have the slow jams. And they both had to be on point, had to be on time. And you had to have the style and the coolness with it, and also be able to pull it off live. And then as a writer, producer, basically everything that today, if you can do one thing, you're called a genius. So imagine this guy right here as a songwriter, producer, an arranger, a musician, a guy who cut his chops going back with Man Child before he even got with the deal, before Two Occasions blew up, and before all the Rocksteady with the Whispers and all the other stuff, and he writing slow jams from Midnight Star. But till you get to this point. And this album is his second album. His first album, Lovers, did all right. My jam on that first album was Mary Mac. That was funky, and I Love You, Babe. Those were my cuts. But with Tender Lover, he had came out, and by this time, him and L.A. Reid and Daryl Simmons had established. Simmons was more like on the third. He was a big trickle part, but it was more about selling Alley and Babyface. But the thing was, he had established himself as a songwriter-producer. Because by the time this album came out, he had already been associated with writing with Pebbles and Bobby Brown, and of course with the Deal and the Mac Band, among others. So his resume was filling up quite nicely. But then when he showed that he could make it as a solo artist as well, that's when you were a triple threat. You become a multi-threat, because then you are your own lane. And that's what they did. So this album was out 30 years ago. It got much, much play back in the day. And it was that record that was on the post. And Whip Appeal was that song that was on the lips for a long time. I mean, he hit, like I said before, Kenneth Babyface Edmonds came up big time, and he's still a respected artist, songwriter, producer, arranger, composer. Um, you know, this was a big time record back in the day, and it still sounds good to this day. I still enjoy it, especially the main cuts. So this guy's a very talented artist, and put some respect by Babyface Tender Love album, which came out back in the day. All right, that's my thoughts and takes. Give me your thoughts and takes. What's your favorite song from this record? What do you remember about it? Um, what does he rank for you as a writer, songwriter, producer, musician, and his impact? Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and the bell rings as a new video. And you have a good day. Woo!